Welcome to this quick video on how you can get started on creating your first tour on TerengganuTravel.com. This is the homepage, and what you're seeing here are the tour cards. Your tour cards will be potentially shown here based on its popularity and relevancy. Start off by signing up an account, and then you may email us to set you up as a vendor account. Once you're signed in, you'll automatically land into the vendor dashboard. If you cannot find the vendor dashboard, you can click on your profile button on top here and click vendor dashboard. You'll land straight into the discussion dashboard where admins and vendors can communicate directly about feature updates or technical help. This is a sample of how your tour could look like. Feel free to use our tours as a reference when building your tours. Click on the Tours Management page on the side panel, and here you can see all your tours and edit them or create new tours. Create a new tour by clicking the Add Tour button, and then name your tour with any title you like. Once you press Create Tour, you'll be greeted by this Tour Edit page. On the top right, you can select your Calendar button, and this will open your availability calendar for this tour. This is used to allocate slots for certain dates and prevent overbookings. You can click on any of these dates to adjust their settings, such as block this date to not allow bookings or adjust their allocation values, such as max guest 20. You can use this Select button to select multiple dates to edit them at the same time. As you can see, I can bulk edit these dates. You can also use this Select Bulk feature to select bulk of multiple dates and also exclude weekdays. This is very useful for editing seasonal prices or weekend prices or block allocations for multiple dates at once. To quickly navigate to certain months or years, you can just click on this Months button here. Now let's get back to your tour. Press this preview button to open a new link to your tour page. Do note that your tour's URL slug follows your title. If that title has already been taken, it will be indexed by numbers like 1, 2, 3. We will begin with overview sections. You have add tags, add list, or add accordion. You can use any of those as you like. I will first add this text section first. I can paste in what I like and edit the formatting with this text editor tool. I can also create headings based off this, but we don't really need headings because overview is already a heading unless you're writing a paragraph. I can bold my text, make it italic, make it underline, create a bullet list, create a number list, or make it a link, or I can just clear all formatting. You can also see the HTML source code with this. Now I will create a list, name it Tour Highlights as the title, and then I can add as much item to the list as I like, and you can also add in custom icons for each list. If you see a drag handle, you are able to drag to resort them. If you want to put a lot of information without filling up the page, you can do so with this accordion. Like as of now, I'm trying to create a Q&A section. Once you're done, just press save and refresh your tour page. As you can see, our overview, highlight, and Q&A is here. Now let's add some key facts, which is information for the tour. First, you have duration, which is a permanent key fact. You can edit it as a day-based or a time-based. I'm gonna make it day-based, 3 days, 2 nights. You can also add your own key facts and edit your title, description, and your icons, but I'm gonna use a preset which is made by an admin. And here are your key facts with their icons. Under the Contents tab, select Categories and then add your categories. These are categories made by admins and will be updated by admins. We suggest you to add at least 4 or 5 categories. Here are where your categories will be shown. You can use these arrow keys to sort your categories. The first category is always the main category that is shown in the tour cards. I will set Island Discovery as the first category, so it'll be the main category. Categories are useful for searching your tours. So as you can see here, Island Discovery shows up for the tour card. Now let's add a few images to your tour. Head to the Gallery tab and add as much images as you like. Remember, the images will automatically be compressed. You can also add a YouTube link to your gallery. I'm gonna add a video here, and then I will sort it by dragging the handle. As you can see here, the gallery follows the order of our sorting, and the video is on the second order. Quick tip, the first image in order will become the main image that will also be displayed for your tour cards. In Itinerary, you are able to add as many stops as you like. Each stop allows you to pinpoint an exact location on the map and add images to show what your itinerary stops are about. In your tour preview page, the itinerary will be located on the bottom, below the booking engine. If you don't want to use the map, you can just empty out the latitude and longitude fields and save changes. The final section of the Contents tab is the Details section. We have similar settings as Overview section just now, which is Add Tags, Add List, and Add Accordion. The Details section will be located on the bottom of the booking engine. This is where you add additional details such as what's included, what's excluded, or anything that is good to note. Head to the Availability section. This is where you modify your tour's calendar system and allocation system. The main setting is date selection. You can choose either fixed duration or date range. Fixed duration is for 3-day, 2-night tours. Meanwhile, date range is usually used for hotel modes. I'll start with fixed duration. There are two fields, allocated days and displayed days. I'll explain more about this. For the displayed days, it will affect the preview tour page and booking receipt. Basically, this is how many days that are selected, seen by the guest when he books. When I set 3 days for displayed days, this will select 3 days in the tour preview's calendar. But this will not affect how your day slots are being allocated in the availability calendar. This displayed days setting just tells the customer how many days this tour is going to be, but this does not affect the internal system that is responsible for managing the allocations. This is where allocated days comes in. You can set how many days are going to be allocated upon the start date of the selection. For instance, this tour has displayed days set as 3 and allocated days set as 2. When the guest selects on this preview calendar, it will select 3 dates. This is the booking email receipt that I have received in my email, and as you can see, this is stating a 3-day tour, which is 25 June to 27 June. This means our displayed days, which is set to 3, is also being used here. We come back to our availability calendar, and as you can see here, for the 25th and 26th is being allocated for 3 guests, except for 27, even though this tour is supposed to look like a 3-day tour, but our allocated days is set as 2. Therefore, from the selected start date, which is 25th, it will only count 2 days forward. And you might be asking, why not just make it a 1 setting? Well, this is useful for 3-day, 2-night tours, where on the 27th, when the guest checks out, you don't want to allocate on the final date, right? However, if you're doing it as a 1-day tour, you can just set allocated days as 1 day and displayed days as 1 day. When you click on a certain date and then go on to the Bookings tab, you can see which booking is being allocated on that certain date. I can click on the 26th to show me that this booking is being occupied on day 2 of day 2. And obviously on the 27th June, there is nothing. Now let's quickly head to the bookings page, and I'm going to show you how each booking entry affects the allocation on the availability calendar. You can click on any booking entry to view its booking details. Do note, if you receive a booking, you will be notified by email with something similar as this. In each booking entry, you'll see the status, and the status affects the current allocation. There are 5 types of status, and you can only adjust them once the payment is set to paid. Pending, confirmed, and completed will allocate the slots. Cancelled and failed will remove the allocation. This is not a one-time thing, and it only affects the availability calendar, so feel free to mess around with the status as it actively changes the allocation. You can click on any booking date and see allocated and non-allocated categories. Allocated booking entries are usually on pending, confirmed, or completed. Meanwhile, not allocated is usually cancelled and failed. When the guest wants to complete the payment in checkout, he will be sent to a payment gateway. In the payment gateway, he has 10 minutes to complete the payment, or else the booking status and the payment status will be set as failed. The pending status will temporarily allocate the slot for 10 minutes. When the payment is successful, the payment will be set as paid, and the status is automatically confirmed. You are then free to set any status as you like. I would suggest that once your tour is over, you should set the status as completed. Do note, the calendar also color codes the dates based on its status, such as red when a certain date has been allocated for a booking. Yellow means that the date has been edited or tampered with. You can press Restore Defaults to restore it back to its green. And when it's grayed out, it means it's unavailable, which means you either manually block the date or the date is already fully allocated. Now, the next setting is capacity. This is the default capacity per day. If I set it to 20, all the default capacity will be 20 in the calendar, except for the dates that you have already edited. You can also switch to the unit system. A unit means one booking entry. Therefore, instead of counting the 3 guests that was booked, it will count as one booking because it has only one booking entry. This is pretty useful if you want to sell the tours as a set or as a room. Next, we have min advance days, max advance days, and booking cutoff time. Booking cutoff time uses Malaysia's time zone. It basically considers what time is considered the next day. I would use this if I want more prep time between my office closing hour. Today is 19 June and it's now 3 PM, which means it's already past 2:30 PM that we set for the booking cutoff time. Therefore, we cannot book for tomorrow, which is 20 June, and we can only book on the 21st June. But since it's 3 PM, I could set my booking cutoff time to be 5:30 PM, which is typical office hours, and I would be able to book for tomorrow since it hasn't been 5:30 PM. And for min advance days and max advance days, it's pretty simple. If I set min advance days to 7 days, it means I cannot book until 7 days ahead. It also considers the booking cutoff time for the first day, of course. Max advance days is the other way around. Let's say I set 14 days, it means I can only book ahead of 14 days. The final setting for availability is booking calendar months. You can select between default 12 months or custom months. The default 12 months will show your current month and add 12 months ahead. And the custom month setting lets you select any month on any year specifically. As you can see, I selected March 2026 to September 2026, but January and February for 2027 only. To keep things simple, if you are running a seasonal tour, you can just use this repeat every year setting and then just set based on your seasons. Let's say I only want it to show March and September ahead of 24 months. As you can see, it will direct me to my current month, which is June 2026, and it will only show me for all the months that I select to repeat every year. How our system prevents overbookings. This will be based on how many days the tour is going to be allocated. Therefore, it is based on its allocated day settings. I'm going to set 25th June to max guest of 5, which means based on this 5 minus 3 allocated slots, we only have 2 empty guest slots left. Then as I go to my tour page, I select 24th June. Since displayed days is set to 3, it will select 3 days, which means checkout is at 26th June. But this is not allocated days, and our allocated days is set to 2 days. Therefore, internally, allocated days will only allocate 24th June and 25th June, and it will forget about 26th June. Upon selection, our system detects that based on these allocated days, 25th June only allows a maximum of 2 guest slots left, and therefore will prevent you from adding more than 2 guests. There is also a safeguard in checkout. Let's say I manage to add more than 2 guests in checkout. Upon pressing the complete booking button, it will run another check before sending you to the payment page, which will create a pending booking entry. In here, it has blocked me because it detects overbooking on the 25th June. There is also an overlap prevention system, which does what it says. If a date is fully booked or closed, our system will prevent any selection trying to overlap it based on how many days it's going to allocate. Let's talk about pricing. Go to the pricing tab and then to the sub-person types tab, and you can add base price or a person type. You can add as many person types as you like adult, child, infant, or child international, adult international. I'm gonna set adult as 300 ringgit, and I'm gonna set child as 150 ringgit. you can head to your availability calendar and then see that each date is now set to 300 ringgit, which is the current adult price. For the 25th, I have manually edited it to 100 ringgit, which I can just press the date and click restore defaults to reset it to 300 ringgit. You can click on this show price for and switch between what person type prices you want to see, which I switched to child and now everything is 150 ringgit per date. Your tour page will always show the prices for the highest sorted person type, which I have sorted to adult to be the highest person type. You can always resort your person types, but we would suggest that you put adult as the highest order. As you can see here, my person types will be under the guest area and I can add as many adults and child as I want. And remember, the amount of guests that your user adds will be allocated in your availability calendar. I can manually edit each date, so let's say for adult on the 24th June will be 999 ringgit and for child 499. As you can see in the tour page, for the 24th June, the price is now 999, which is the adult price, the highest person type. And when I press it, the guest prices will also change for adult and child. Now you can also use base price. Base price is used for adding minimum charges for the entire booking. For base price, you have two charge modes, minimum spend and flat base rate. I will set minimum spend first and I'll set it as 700 ringgit. When you head to your tour calendar, suddenly everything is now 700 ringgit, which is the base price. And base price acts like a person type with the highest order. Therefore, in your availability calendar, you can go to the show price for and you can select minimum charge or whatever you name your base price as. And you can manually configure each date prices as well for this base price. Okay, remember our base price has a setting called charge mode and we just set it to minimum spend, which means it forces a minimum charge of 700 ringgit on top of your guest or add-ons amount. But there's another setting called flat base rate, which is like a floor amount. It basically works like this. It will charge you the minimum charge, which is 700 ringgit, but as you add guests, you can see my guest amount will be RM0 unless my guest amount exceeds that 700 ringgit minimum charge. And now you can see the minimum charge has been removed and my guest amount is 900 ringgit. To show you another example, I remove adult. Now we have 2 adults, but 2 adults is only 600 ringgit, which does not exceed the minimum charge of 700 ringgit. But I add in a child and now it's 750 and the minimum charge of 700 is removed. This is a pretty useful feature if you run a boat cruise where you need a minimum of 4 adults to be profitable, but then this guest has only 1 adult and he wants to book. Therefore, he can book by paying the minimum charge. But if you're persistent on limiting how many guests can book at once, you can use person limits. Head to the Persons Limit tab under the Pricing tab and then press on Add Limit Group. You can add which person type you want to be in this limit group and then just add the minimum and maximum quantity. For instance, I have set adult to be minimum 1. Therefore, as a child, I cannot make this booking unless I add 1 adult. You might be asking, why make person limits as a group? Well, this is good if you have a bunch of person types, let's say adult and adult international, and you want to group them together, right? Adult and adult international is considered as 1 adult. I would therefore go to my limit group and then edit my limit group 1 and add adult and adult international as a group, and possibly child and child international as a group as well. Therefore, if I book as a child, they will state I will need either 1 adult or 1 adult international. And okay, I'll add adult international and therefore I can now book. A last thing to note is that total limit encompasses all. It's basically the parent of all these groups. So if I set 2 as a minimum for total limits, I will need at least 2 guests to make this booking. Since we have learned a lot about the pricing settings, I can now go back to availability and teach you how date range mode works. If I set my date selection to date range mode, instead of a fixed day selection, I now can choose how many days I want for this tour. As you can see, I can press my check-in and check-out date, which automatically calculates the sum of the person types based on per day. If you recall, we set up base price, and base price is like a person type. So when we select this date, it will just calculate based on per day for this person type. And do remember, every time you add 1 person type, it will charge per night basis. The prices depends on how much you set per date. Let's say I set 24 June for minimum charge base price to be 2,000 ringgit and adult to be 1,000 ringgit. When I select check-in to be 23 June until 25 June, it will calculate the base price at 23 June and 24 June, which is 700 ringgit and 2,000 ringgit for 24 June. The same logic applies for guests as well. Let's say if I add one adult, 23 June for adult is 300 ringgit, right? But for 24 June, I set adult as 1,000 ringgit. But usually if you're selling rooms, I would just set a base price, and for guests, adult or child, I will set them as 00 ringgit and just set up a person limit to limit how many that room can accommodate. Regarding allocations with date range mode, it's more simple than fixed duration. If I select 26 June to 28 June, it will allocate 26 and 27 June only and ignore the checkout date, which is 28 June. You can obviously see this based on how it calculates the total price. But you can switch off count as night to count as day as well. And when that is used, all the dates in the selection will be allocated and calculated for the total price. There is also a min selected days and max selected days setting to force users to select a set amount of dates. I will set min as 3 dates and will force the selection as 3 dates. And I can only extend the selection for a total of 7 dates. Now, let's get back to pricing. We will talk about discounts now. Discounts are also groups, like person limits. I can add a discount group and then set the discount type as, let's say, percentage. So adult and adult international will be in one discount group. And I'll set a discount range. So 2 to 5 adult for 20% off. I can also edit this range. Let's say I just want 2 to 4 adults to be 20% off. And now I want to add another range. So 5 guests to 6 guests for 50% off. Let's test out our discounts. I'll add one adult which has no discount yet, and I add another adult which is adult international, and now I have my 20% off discount. I add a child and nothing gets affected. Now I would need at least 5 adult or adult international combined to get my 50% discount. But since the range ends at 5 to 6 guests, when I exceed to 6 adults, let's say 7 adults, my discounts get removed. So remember, make sure to add your max quantity for your last range to be 99, let's say. The last setting in pricing is add-ons. I'm going to create an add-on group. So let's call it Choose Your Meal. There are a bunch of settings for your add-on group, like a minimum selection, maximum selection, charge type, layout type, and conditions. We will start off simple. Once you created your add-on group, you can create your add-on items. Like, let's say I'm going to name this pizza for 100 ringgit, and I'm going to make one more add-on item called burger for 50 ringgit. You can find the add-ons below the guest selection area. There you have it. I can now choose my meal. I can choose either pizza or burger. Since max selection is set to 1, I can only select 1 in this group. If I set max selection to 2, I can select 2 in this group. Since I set min selection to 1, I can only make the booking when I select 1 item from this add-on group. You have 5 charge types. You can make everything free, a fixed amount, allocated days, which is per day charge, or per person, either fixed or percentage. If you select per person and then you edit your add-on items, this is what you get. For pizza, I can add adult 200 ringgit, adult international for 500 ringgit, child I can do 50, and child international I can do 300. I will add one of every one of these person types. Then when I go to my add-ons and select the add-on, it will automatically calculate per person type. We will not go through all these charge types because it's very easy to understand, but just note allocated days only works for date range mode, obviously, because you want to select how many days. Now layout types, you have 3 layout types. The first one which was cards, and now I'm going to show you checkbox. This is how checkbox looks like. This is how selector drop-down looks. It is pretty useful for a lot of add-on items, and you can also search through this whole list. I would usually use this, let's say, if I have a bunch of designated pickup points and I want my user to select one of it. Finally, we have conditions. I can select adult as a condition, and this add-on will only appear when I select one adult as a guest. If you turn on show per person type, this will just mirror for each person type. This is pretty useful to designate per guest. Let's say I said adult 1, you're gonna use hotel A, adult 2, you're gonna go to hotel B, and let's say child 1, you're gonna go to hotel B as well. But most likely you'll be using this to designate specific meal sets or t-shirt sizes. Let's say you have a whole bunch of designated pickup points and I don't want to just create all these new pickup points for my new tour. Well, you can just use this export and import feature for add-on groups. You just press export to copy the entire JSON code and then you just press import to paste that code into a new add-on group, and it will just literally copy everything from the add-on group. So let's move to packages. Packages are basically just sub-tours. You can customize the package title, so let's say select room type. You can use compact view layout if you want to. I will create a package, and remember, once you create a package, your main parent tour's availability and pricing will be turned off as long as the packages are active. You can press on the edit button to edit your packages, and as you can see, you have a title, description, and a gallery. And when you head to availability and pricing, is all just the same stuff that we just learned. Alright, I have set up my packages, and as you scroll down you can see your packages. I have set it up as a room type selection. I set it up as superior room 3 days 2 nights or deluxe room, which is 4 days 3 nights. Every time you select a package, it will change its availability and pricing settings on how you configure it. Like if I say deluxe room is 4 days 3 nights, it will select 4 days 3 nights because that's just how I set it in its availability setting. In deluxe setting, I have set it up to use this pricing model, and I have these add-ons. In superior, I don't really have this. And superior is going to select 3 days because that's how I set it up. You can go to your tour management page, and as you can see, there are 2 child packages below your main parent tour, and you can press edit, or you can press the calendar icon to edit their individual availability calendar dates. Remember, since they're just both 2 different tours, they have their own separate settings, their own separate availability calendar settings, and all of that. I'm not going to go through everything, but I can say you can use this for a lot of possibilities, especially creating different room types or tours with different specifications, or you can make different time slots with their own availability calendar. Just so you know, if someone books, it will state the main parent tour title with the packages that he booked. This will be stated in the booking email receipt as well as your booking details receipt. You can go to your package's status settings and then go to author, and you can change the author to a different vendor. This will just send an invitation email to that vendor. This is a good setting if you want to do multi-vendor tours and want that vendor to manage their allocations. Go back to your parent tour edit and let's talk about checkout. I'm gonna add a checkout field. I'm gonna call it a flight number. Therefore, the user needs to enter his flight number before he can book. And then I'm gonna make the field size too small. You can also set it to large if you like. I'm gonna set it to required, so the customer must fill this field in order to book. Any placeholder if you like to. As a customer, when I check out to this booking, I will see a flight number field here. You can go to your bookings page and then press on the booking entry, and you can see what he has input into that field. This will also appear on the email copy. Finally, you have vendor instructions. This is pretty good if you want to remind the customer where to meet up. I'm gonna set up a meeting point, and then I'm gonna paste a Google Map link. As you can see on this booking receipt sent by email, there is a meeting point under the instruction section. Your last tour setting would be status. You can see the author of this tour, which is you. The visibility, you can set it as publish or private. If you set this tour to private, only your account and an admin can view this tour. Your tour cards will not be searchable and it will not be visible on the home page. You can also add internal notes between you and admin if you like to. You can view the platform fee for this tour, which is usually 15% unless you have a custom deal. And finally, you have an affiliate fee. You can set this up if you want to. I will set this as 10%. You can head to the affiliate dashboard, which is visible for vendor accounts or affiliate accounts. Then you can see a marketplace for all the tours that has an affiliate. If you have set up your tour for an affiliate fee, like let's say we did 10% just now, and then a person with an affiliate account generates a link by pressing copy here, it will generate a affiliate link, and then he sells that tour, he will earn 10% from your total earnings. Do note that when platform fee and affiliate fee, which is percentage, is going to deduct as a whole from your tour revenue, and it is not by step. There is a last feature that I wanted to mention, which is to translate your tours to Bahasa Malaysia and Mandarin after you set it up. This is obviously up to you, but we would suggest so to improve your SEO on Google search rankings. And therefore, I would suggest you to use AI to translate. Once you click on this translate button on the top right corner, press on generate current JSON, then just copy the entire JSON code. I will use Gemini or ChatGPT and ask it to translate these JSON fields. For now, I would suggest Gemini because it is more generous. Once that's done, just copy the entire code and then just paste it in the import field, and then press import to test it out. Let me test by switching to Mandarin, and there we have it. Our tour has been translated to Mandarin. In the future, we will use AI to automate these translations, but for now, you have to manually translate. You can go to the Payouts page to check your current balance, request for payout, or check your earnings history on this ledger history. For us to send your payment to your bank, just set up these bank details in the Bank Details tab. For now, we only allow bank transfers for Malaysian banks. If you want to request for a payout, just click on the Request tab and then create a new request. Click Type and select Payout, which is debit. We usually only use credit for technical issues. And then the amount. You can press All to select all your current amount in your balance. The description and attachment is up to you. Just press Submit to submit the request, and this will send an email to our accountant which will manage your payout request. When the payment is sent to your bank, the status of your payout request will be stated as approved and your earning balance will be deducted. You can also create your own coupons to be applied to your own tours. You can press Add Coupon to create your coupon code, your coupon name, the amount, the discount type whether it's percentage or fixed, the start and end date, usage restrictions such as minimum or maximum spend, and then only for certain tours. You can also edit usage limits such as usage limit per coupon or usage limit per user, and then the status whether it's published or drafted. When I head to checkout and type in my coupon code in the coupon code field, it applies the 5% discount. Finally, you can head to account to set up your profile picture, or change your email address, or change your security settings. This is where you set up your vendor profile banner, description, and vendor facts. You can find your vendor profile by clicking here. Well, that's everything you need to know, and thank you for watching.